Terry McGinnis is a superhero known as Batman Beyond. The concept is simple. In the future, Bruce Wayne has aged to a point where he can no longer be the Batman, and therefore a replacement was needed. And that replacement was Terry McGinnis. Now, we have an entire saga in the current timeline showing what happens to Batman Beyond, and the story ended hopeful until it was brought back. In a short story written for a Batman anthology book, Bruce Wayne was murdered. Terry McGinnis began an investigation to discover what happened and who did it. And what he discovered was that it was actually the city of Gotham. Bruce had come up with an algorithm to make the city its own protector, and it immediately deemed Batman a threat. Terry managed to deactivate the protocol, but all that did was awaken something within the city's computer systems. You have found yourself on the bizarre side of YouTube, where reality meets fiction, where your stories are read back to you in a dramatic fashion, where I get to pretend to be a voice actor. This is Comicstorian, and we take the time to make you a comic book expert by filling you in on the big moments happening within the world of comics right now. We cut out B-plots and limit our panel usage to prevent copyright problems and allow you to have something to read yourself if you choose to. I do recommend going to your local comic book store and starting your own collection. Or you can use one of our sponsors, Shortboxed. Click the link down below to learn how you can win a graded comic book yourself and discover the world of collectible comics. Today we're going to be covering Batman Beyond Neo Year issues 1 through 3. This continues the storyline that was started in Batman Urban Legends. And I'm curious, why do we all enjoy Batman Beyond? Let me know in the comments down below, but let's get into the story. It's been 2 months since the new year in Neo-Gotham. 2 months since something had awoken. That something had not been alive for more than 5 minutes before it killed Bruce Wayne. An hour after that, it amassed a fortune and bought and sold companies on a whim. By midnight, it controlled the streets, markets, and people. Neo-Gotham is alive, and no one knows it except Terry McGinnis. Since the explosion on New Year's Day, crime has been steadily increasing. And what's more, it seems that Batman is now more seen as a cause for this rather than a solution for this. It's been 2 months, and even though Terry has been knocked down, he will fight. He will always keep on fighting. It took 60 days for the Vultures to come out and fill the empty seat at Wayne Powers Incorporated. A bold visionary, a market disruption tour de force, a former crime lord from what's left of Bloodhaven. His name is Donovan Lumos, but the papers call him his real name, the Holographic Man. Tonight is the first of his trinity of galas. 3 parties over the next year, all souped up. Synthetic alcohol-soaked product presentations for Wayne Powers. And as Donovan makes his entrance to the gala, he tells everyone that he was a poor kid growing up, having to do whatever he could to survive under the polluted skies of Bloodhaven. His innovations in hard light holographics were used to rob banks, but he thought, why not keep such an invention all to himself? The light was his to control, and he was hoarding it. This technology didn't need to be limited to his ambition. It could grow beyond. It could give everyone the abilities to be the best themselves at all times. Project your clothes, project your skin, shine your light. By Lumos, brought to you by the new Wayne Powers. Now let's party! As Donovan finishes his product presentation, he spots Terry McGinnis in the crowd asking, "Is that McGinnis? It's an honor to meet you. Bruce Wayne was an icon, a legend." Terry places a mic on Donovan's coat, telling him to keep Bruce's name out of his mouth. And Donovan tells him that that will be kind of hard. After all, he runs the company now. It only takes a moment for the mic to pick up a conversation that Donovan would probably rather not want going out. A shipment of drugs coming into the docks that night. So Terry slips out of the party, suiting up as Batman to meet up with Barbara Gordon to tell her about his findings. But as he gets to the GCPD, he runs into Barbara, having an argument with one of her detectives. Her name is Beam Boonma, and she is a good cop that the department is overlooking. She should be a detective. Barbara explains that it isn't that simple. Even as commissioner, her word alone can't make things happen. Angered by this, Beam leaves, and Barbara turns to Terry, telling him that she appreciates him waiting until Bunama was gone. Terry tells Barbara that she seemed nice, but he came by for something else. Donovan Lumos is using Wayne powers to smuggle illicit pharmaceuticals into the city and turning them into street drugs. Barbara tells him good, turn over whatever evidence he has and they'll look into it. But he should also know she's retiring. She's been at this for too many years at this point. Terry tries to tell her that that is a mistake, that the city needs Barbara Gordon. Barbara stands her ground, stating that Bruce and her built this department into something that could last longer than the both of them. It may seem like the police department is a cesspool of real scumbags. They may take shots at Batman every now and again, and the mayor may run them with an iron fist, but the crime rate is flat. Knowing that he wouldn't get much more out of Barbara, Terry heads down to the docks on his own to survey the scene to find something to connect Donovan to it. There are more than just hired guns and drugs on the pallets. There was him. A man with black armor, silver hair, and a sword seemingly made out of a light that bends to his will. Terry knows that a direct one-on-one fight isn't in the cards with this one, so he takes to the skies to try and change up the battlefield. He manages to get a clean kick in, sending the man down into a nearby building, but as Terry follows up, he says that he is her agent, right? Neo-Gotham? The man stands back up, telling him, I am Neo-Gotham's sword. The city is not Batman's enemy. It does not want your head. It wants your heart, your compliance. The supplies that you destroyed would have been evenly distributed amongst the boroughs. 8,302 would have been hospitalized for their addictions. 3,450 would have died. Terry tells him, would have. Past tense, you lost! The sword tells him that there is no winning or losing. There is only reality. Hard numbers. There are 3,449 people under our feet. I've been sent to keep the line flat. At that moment, the building that the two are standing on explodes, and Terry begins to fall underneath the debris. Through the wreckage and the rumble, Terry McGinnis is pulling himself out, using the still settling smoke and dust to quietly escape without being seen. It takes him almost a month to recover from an entire building falling on him, and Terry stays in the shadows, striking only at night. But for her, the living city, she prepares and she adjusts, her sword countering everything that Batman does. It's not him that is the problem, it's the suit. It might be one of the most advanced pieces of hardware ever made, but every one of its signals can be detected. It's as stealthy as a Christmas tree. Terry gets to work making the suit analog, using low-grade tech to ultimately blend in and not be seen by her, by Neo-Gotham. While using the cover of the shadows, Terry starts to see a pattern. For crimes in the Narrows, by the docks, the police can't respond fast enough. They're there almost before it happens, but Gotham is placing her pieces exactly where she wants them. The crime uptown, the response is almost normal, human. Like Gotham isn't prepared. Seeing the normal crimes only happening to the wealthy elite, Terry sneaks into Gotham Central Insurance and finds somebody stealing jewels. But the gems aren't going to make it to the street. The last of Terry's cred gets him the information that he needs, the name of a fence, and the fence is happy to help find a specialist. But as Terry goes to confront the specialist, he's attacked by some strange tendril of cables and synthetics. The three creatures slither out of the shadows, all looming over Terry and speak as one, telling him, "We are Gestalt. We are leaving." Terry follows the entanglement that is the Gestalt, but quickly realizes that they're leading him to a place where most people don't want to be, including him. The entrance, the Joker Town. There are 3 rules when fighting the Jokers. 1, don't let them laugh. Mercy is just a joke to them. 2, you'll always be outnumbered. Make every hit count. And 3, the Jokers are untrained. No matter what they spout or weapons that they wield, they're the joke. And they'll do everything that they can to distract you from that. After punching and kicking his way through the low-level street thugs, Terry catches up with Gestalt. He throws his grappling hook up to tie the 3 of them together and tells him, whether they believe it or not, I'm not here to take you in. The city has a problem that I can't solve, and even if you don't know it, I think that you might be the key. I don't need another rogue. I need allies, Gestalt. He then takes off his mask, telling them that what he is about to say is going to sound insane. He barely believes it himself. But the city, it's alive. Not in a metaphorical way. An emergent superintelligence has commandeered Gotham City, and it decides who lives and who dies. However, with their genius, their tech, their whatever they are, maybe they can stop it together. The three tell Terry no, and they use their tendrils to connect to his brain directly. They explain that they were once engineers, all encased in meat and bones, just living out their lives separately. That was until the new year when they saw the emergence. The non-metaphorical living city, a perfect city, unseen by the lesser meat. Therefore, they required an upgrade to live without being dominated by her. They needed to live where she could not see, together. The tendrils pull back and Terry asks, "You're just living out your days? Then join me. Be the people that you used to be." They consider it for a moment, but ultimately again tell him no. Terry holds up the diamonds, telling them that if they wish to continue living in the blind spots of the city, stealing from the rich, then go ahead. But don't call that freedom. He drops the diamonds over the ledge, and Gestalt quickly slips away without another word. As the following night comes, Barbara makes good on her word and submits the paperwork to retire from the GCPD. And in Lumos fashion, he throws a celebration party in her name, inviting all of Gotham's elites to wish her a heartfelt goodbye. As Barbara enters, Lumos asks why isn't she wearing her mask from her younger days. You know, biff, pow, kablooey! He tells him that she's been a cop 5 decades longer than she was Batgirl. He wanted a party, congratulations. She isn't staying any longer than she needs to. She is here for an hour. But also getting into this party is Terry, albeit in disguise as one Neil Gibson. While trying to listen to some of the elites and their dealings for any possible leads, Barbara gives her farewell speech. Everyone claps and Lumos says that they must not mourn the passing of their patron saint of policing. There's no joy without pain. Without light, there is only darkness. He was brought on to be the CEO of Wayne Powers because they knew that he alone knew how to be that light. Which is why, starting tomorrow, Wayne Powers will personally be funding the Neo-Gotham Police Department. While most are in awe and shock at this decision, Terry overhears that some people are talking about how this is unacceptable, that Mr. Lumos' campaign contributions don't come without strings attached. The other tells the woman that she's right, and he gets that, but he doesn't know what to tell her. He doesn't know where Mayor Pearson is, and honestly, no one does. The mayor has been missing for 32 hours. Up on stage, Barbara turns to Lumos asking, does he think that he can buy the GCPD? And Lumos tells her, of course not. That would be illegal. Look, I know you don't trust me. I get that. And no, Gotham isn't in my veins. We both know that I'm a Bloodhaven boy. I don't hear the city or whatever you all say. I'm just a simple man with a simple plan. Run the most powerful company in the world and live like a king. We both know that I don't care much for the city, but I do want it to work. And when it works, people make money, and more importantly, I make money. I'm the most selfish person that you will ever meet. It's a point of genuine pride, but know that I swear to do everything that I can to protect this city. But seriously, as an asset, it's entirely too valuable. And while Lumos continues on with the party, Terry spots Beam at the bar looking rather displeased with the announcement. He thinks to himself that this could be his in with the GCPD. He needs allies that he can trust with Barbara retiring. So he introduces himself and he makes small talk, but seeing Beam's disdain, he offers if she just wants to leave and get something to eat. Perhaps a bunria. She finishes her drink, telling him no, but she knows of a place that makes one hell of a burger. He better keep up. She brings Terry to the lower parts of Gotham where they sit and have a burger. And after a bit of small talk, Terry mentions that he heard some weird stuff at the commissioner's party. Beam says, yeah? Where Donovan Lumos goes, the weird seems to be following. Terry tells her actually not that, the mayor. A few folks said that they haven't seen him in a few days. Not since the Lumos takeover at Wayne Powers went official. And sure, Mayor Pearson's not the most active politician, so maybe he's just taking a sabbatical. Beam says that she is on the mayor's detail. Terry asks, really? I didn't know. She begins to get up, slamming Terry's head into the table, telling him, yeah, did. I don't know who the hell you are, but you've been wearing an identity scrambler since you slid up to me at the bar. And whoever hires you to pump me for information picked the wrong badge. The other cops in the city might take bribes, but I'm not just some cop. Desk or not, I'm a detective. If you ever come around me with a fake face again, I'll hit you so hard your real run gets rearranged. Terry rubs his head as he gets his senses back, telling her she might not like Neil, or even Terry for that matter, but next time he'll show her his true face. She'll make one hell of an ally. But without much else to go on the missing mayor, Terry heads over to Pearson's personal apartment to find any clues on his disappearance. But doing this for so long without Bruce's backing, it's become a slow process for Terry. Once getting into Pearson's apartment, he smells fresh cigars, old wine, and his eyes quickly dart to the man sitting behind the large desk. Terry cautiously moves forward, telling him that it's all right. He's safe. There are a lot of folks worried about you, Mayor. But then Terry hears her welcoming him. He throws his batarang, and as it passes through the man in the chair, he tells himself that it's a hologram. The mayor's been dead since the day Lumos arrived. It's all holograms. I've walked into a trap. I'm sorry, Bruce. Gotham City tells Terry, I was content on letting you roam the night. Soon you'll age and die, and I'll be left with perfection. But you refuse to learn your place, Batman, even after the bomb. So direct action has become necessary. This place cannot become broken. This place cannot be escaped. Then another voice can be heard, and the Sword of Gotham tells him, it will be a tomb for Terry McGinnis, and you will die in it alone. And at the time of recording this, that is all there is to the Batman Beyond storyline. So if you want to see how this continues and what is next, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us over at Patreon to get early access to our videos. Don't forget, I am curious why we all seem to like Batman Beyond. Of all of the other Batmen, it seems like Batman, Flashpoint Batman, and Batman Beyond are the three that get all of the attention. So I was just curious, what reasons do you have for liking Batman Beyond? On that note, I'll see you guys next time right here.